What is happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Me. In today's episode, we're going to be learning how to make tacos. It's going to be pretty uneventful. I mean, honestly, tacos are not really that hard to make. But let me show you what the ingredients are. Mostly, this is going to be supported by Trader Joe's. So here I got my taco shells from Trader Joe's. I got my tomato from Trader Joe's. Taco seasoning mix from Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's ground beef. Trader Joe's lettuce. And I will be putting some hot sauce on there, but yes, mostly it's from Trader Joe's just because I went there yesterday. And no, this video is not sponsored by them, but I really do like them. They're good. And so, yeah, it's a pretty easy recipe to do. I'm just going to, fire this thing up, let it get all hot and everything. Tacos are easy to multitask. And so I'm going to throw some oil down here, put the ground beef in, put the taco mix in, and then let it sizzle for a bit. And then I'll slice up the lettuce and the tomato and then put it in the taco shell and eat it. Oh, I forgot about one last thing. Trader Joe's mild cheddar cheese. That's kind of my go-to right there. Yeah. So the AP test is done. AP tests are done after this week, so congratulations to all of you for being finished with all of your AP exams, especially in this crazy time. You know, nothing's better than being alleviated of stress. I remember when I was in college, there were a couple of times when there were some really, really stressful times in my life where I was just like, wow, I can't believe I survived that. I don't know how, even looking back on it now, I don't know how I was able to survive some of this stuff that I put myself through. There was one winter break in particular. I was a sophomore at Grossmont Community College, where I took, because I was trying to get ahead in units, and I'm going to cut this dude up, and actually I should cut him over here. That way, if any blood drips down, it does not fall onto the table, because you don't want blood everywhere. Anyways, I was a sophomore at Grossmont Community College. I was still working at SeaWorld at the time, and I took this U.S. history class that was strictly online, so not at all unlike what you guys are doing right now. And it was probably one of the worst experiences of my academic career because it was a 6-week long class, and there was so much work. It was an early and modern U.S. history class at the same time. Listen, that sizzle right there. It was both at the same time. So and honestly, it just really sucked. It really, really sucked. And it was basically having to write an essay a day, a 4 to 6 page essay every single day, and then like the midterm and the final, which were like 2 weeks apart, they were like 12-page essays each. And realistically, you could have just copied and pasted from the lecture. But if you did, you were put yourself in risk for getting a 0 on it. And I really wanted to pass these classes because I wanted to fulfill my history requirement. And that sucked. It really did. And having to write a 4-page essay every day for like 5 weeks was pretty crappy, I'm not gonna lie. I did not enjoy that. But I remember when I was done, I typed a 16-page essay in both classes in one day for my early and modern U.S. history class. So 32 total pages done. And I ended up getting an A because I really don't think the professor read anything in the class. He probably just gave out the A's because it was such a, for lack of a better term, kind of a BS kind of class. And so I remember just being done and thinking like, wow, I can't believe I did that. So when I was done, I just, I was still living with my parents at the time, but I just went right in my room and I just binge played, I think it was Animal Crossing or Super Smash Brothers at the time. I just bought a GameCube for myself. And yeah, so anyway, my point in bringing that up is I definitely know the feeling of that detox from stress. And actually, I mean, it's funny, like, that's kind of like my go-to for relieving stress is video games. That's my go-to stress reliever. So when I think back to my time, my first year teaching Calc AB, there are a few games that I really remember playing, and I don't know why, but because they're not necessarily even my favorite games of all time, but I remember playing them because it helped me get through Calc AB, and that was such a hard thing for me to do, to teach all that stuff. I mean, getting through optimization, related rates, and all that stuff. But every Friday, I would close down my room, I'd lock it all down, and I'd stay at school until late, like super late. And I would just, I had the projector and everything, and I would just bust out, I started, and I don't know why I started off with this game, but I started off with Final Fantasy VIII. Really, really average kind of game. It's okay, but it's fun. It's fun. It's not exactly like, they definitely do a lot of retconning in the game. That the story is, at best, I give it like a B minus. But I don't know why I played it, and I really enjoyed it. And I realized, this is fun. Like I could get behind this idea of playing video games to release my stress. So then I started playing Final Fantasy 13, 13-3, which is Lightning Returns. Again, mediocre game. It's not that good. It's okay. But yeah, so I'm hoping, and I bring all this up because you guys are going through your stress, and I want you guys to know that adults deal with stress the same way you guys do. We have stressors in our lives, and every adult has different coping mechanisms. I think I'm pretty abnormal when it comes to how I de-stress. I mean, I don't know what your parents do when they want to de-stress, or if they do it all, because sometimes people just don't have the time for it. But yeah, video games is my go-to. Like, to the point where actually it was kind of fun. I to this day, I will let you know, I keep a record of the games that I've beaten by year ever since my first year in calculus. So actually, I might just publish it on this video. That way you guys can see what games I defeated. But man, my first year in Calc AB, I don't know how I had time to do this, but I beat a lot of games. Like I started with Final Fantasy VIII, and then I played VII, and then it was, and then after that it was, I had beaten Final Fantasy like 6, 4, and 10, and 9. I beat them all like that year. And I don't know why Final Fantasy has always been, a thing for me. Now that the ground beef, by the way, getting back to the tacos, now that the ground beef is sizzling and it's pretty much cooked, it's time to put the taco seasoning mix in. And I grew up on it. I grew up on Final Fantasy. It was just a lot of fun. First Final Fantasy game I played was Mystic Quest. People often hate that game, but I actually liked it. It was fun. A little too easy, but that's fine. But actually, if you saw my last video, my buddy Phil, who works in Japan still, he loves Final Fantasy. So he and I talk about it a lot. He just bought Final Fantasy VII, the remake. I don't know what he thinks of it. Honestly, there's another teacher at school who plays it. Mr. Wei played it. I think he liked it. I haven't gotten into it, honestly. Like, other than for the nostalgic feeling, I can't really get into Final Fantasy anymore. I don't know what it is. I wish they would make one for my age category, And so with me being in my upper 30s now, I feel like I'm a little too old for Final Fantasy. It's always about a bunch of teenagers. So if you guys want to play it, it's fine. I think you guys would really like it. But I will tell you, there are a few games that really elevated gaming level for me. And this is just, of course, my opinion, because I'm sure some of you guys will log in and say, no, why didn't you recognize that game? It's just the type of game I like to play. But before I get into that, let me show you what the ground beef looks like with the taco seasoning. Again, this is not a very complicated recipe here. It's just that, easy. I would say Final Fantasy definitely upped the level for me. I really enjoyed the idea of Final Fantasy. But after that, I will say, and as much as, people object to this type of game, Grand Theft Auto really elevated the next level for me, because I had never seen anything where you could actually fight NPCs just walking down, like there was a grandma walking down carrying groceries. You could walk through and punch her, and being 19 when I bought it, it was funny. And it was really, really funny. I mean, even my dad, who I felt would have a really moral objection to that game, he thought it was hilarious, which was really surprising. But yeah, so Grand Theft Auto 3 what really elevated that. I remember a dude in my community, one of my community college classes, told me about it, and I didn't believe him. I was like, "What are you talking about, man? There's no game you can do that." And I bought it. I remember I went to Best Buy, and lo and behold, I mean, you could do whatever you wanted in that game. It was funny. So yeah, so GTA did that for me, and then as far as fighting games go, Super Smash Brothers. I mean, how can you not mention that as a game that elevates the level? Okay, so before I continue talking about games, let me show you guys how I'm going to slice this tomato here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do something kind of odd. I don't think I can get the angle on this thing. I don't think I can do it. Maybe you can just watch me do it from here. Or maybe I'll move over. I'll move over to here so you can see how I do this. How to dice tomatoes. It's funny, I didn't know this until some dude who, I think he was some guy in Japan, I don't even remember his name, but he showed me how to dice tomatoes, and I really think he was just showing off to the girls at our little party. But he showed me how to do it, and he was kind of a jerk, but that's okay, I got something out of it. At first I would just slice them down, I would slice them down into squares, but apparently that's not how to do it. And so he showed me how to do it this way. What you do is you slice here. You don't slice all the way through. You leave a little bit of a grip right there. That way the tomato doesn't fall apart. And I'm just going to keep doing that all the way up. And again, I'm not slicing all the way through. It's almost like I can open it up, like I'd be able to open this thing up as if it was like a book kind of. And again, I have this little gap right here where there are no slices. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's no. I didn't slice all the way through the tomato. And then from here, from that same point, I'm going to draw downward. I'm going to draw downward. And again, I'm not slicing through the whole tomato. And I don't know why this is more effective. I've never really questioned it, but I do it because it's kind of a challenge for me. But I've gotten kind of good at it. I've done it for, he showed it to me when I was 24, so it's been, 13 years. And yeah, you're going to lose little tomato pieces in the meantime, but that's okay. Those are going to become part of the taco anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then from here, now what you have is it looks like almost like a cat claw of sorts of tomatoes, where you have slices going horizontally and then slices going vertically down. So it's almost like a cross sectional area of the tomato. So what you do is now you just kind of dice them like that. And then actually I might want to change my knife. This is not a good knife for this. So big knife. And here we go. I will just slice down, and you see how they become diced like that? Diced tomatoes like this. And they become diced, kind of like I'm hoping you would see at Chipotle or something like that. And there you go. And then for the rest of the tomato, you just slice it down like that. Now, I don't know if that's any more efficient than just cutting it down, but I feel like it's kind of fun to try it. Okay, cool. So those are my diced tomatoes. I'm going to find a container for those. Bless me. Wash my hands for that one. But yeah, so after Super Smash Brothers, I would say, after that, I didn't really get into anything else after that. I'm trying to think. In most of my time in Japan, I did not play that many games. I played Final Fantasy X Part 2 when I was there. It was fun. I liked that game. I played Initial D at the arcade games. That was fun. Let me see, what else? I don't think it was until I came back to the US that I started playing games again. And I would say, I'm trying to think, I bought a PS3, and then that's when I played Final Fantasy XIII. Played that through my student teaching, it was fun. And then, yeah, I would say it probably wasn't really until I played Mass Effect that I saw another game take to the highest, take to another level. I'm gonna dice another tomato here. That was Mass Effect really changed the level for me. I liked that game. Just the character development of the game. The ability to make choices that seemingly mattered, and they don't really affect the story per se, and I know that, but they do affect how the characters interact with you. And I thought that was really, really that was a really, genius kind of idea. It was so innovative at the time. If you've ever played Mass Effect, if you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. You can get it on Xbox One or PlayStation or a computer. PlayStation 3 only. They won't. I don't think they're going to remaster it for the PS4, which is a shame because it's a really good game. But yeah, I would say my favorite characters, other than Shepard, because I really do like Shepard, because that's who you are. Garrus Vakarian, I think he's a Turian. I think that I forget his race, but I think he's a Turian. And Tali Zora is really good. All the characters are really good, and they're all aliens, and most of them anyway. I forget, there was the assassin. I forget his name. He was really cool. A green guy. And then his son was also in Mass Effect 3. It's an odyssey is what it is. And it's funny, some people read books to get away from reality, and I think that's ultimately what it is. And I feel like that's a really healthy thing to have when you are growing up, is some way where you can escape from reality and be in like a fantasy world where you can let go of like the current world stressors and all that stuff. It's good. Yeah. So I hope you all have that in your life, because if you don't, stress can really accumulate. It's not good. You don't want to do that. So as you guys know, I am playing games now again. Let's see. My first year in Integrated 2, which is this year, I have beaten Bloodborne, and then I beat Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Both exceptionally difficult games. Like honestly, I'm so difficult. I don't know how I was able to do it, but I think a lot of bashing my head against the wall and is really what it boils down to. I'm trying to think. Do I want to use that mandolin slicer for this? I don't think I really need to. It's not like I want to show you guys how to use it, but honestly, you know what? There's going to be another recipe that I'm going to make that's going to involve me shredding cabbage. So I think I was going to shred this thing by hand. So I will show you guys what that looks like right now. Just put you in here. See, I think I'm going to shred this thing by hand. And so, dead lettuce leaf right there. It's gross. Alright, so yeah, so just shred it as, you cut it as close as possible. You cut it as close as possible to itself, to try to get thin lettuce leaves. I don't know, that's just my personal style. It depends on what you want. It's, a lot of cooking is really dependent on what your own personal style is. But yeah, so yeah, that's the game that I'm on right now. Like I've come to enjoy those Dark Souls type games, but getting back to Mass Effect, I mean honestly, like Mass Effect really changed the level for me in terms of what games could possibly do. And some of you might disagree with me, and I have my flame shield up in case you all want to throw flames in my direction. Fallout 4 was an amazing experience. I love that game. Having said that, I thought it sucked when I first played it. I thought it sucked. But once the story took off, and you went and you completed it, I think the breaking point is Nick Valentine's quest. When you complete his quest, it like the whole world begins to open up, and you start to realize that there's the syndicate, there's the there's the syndicate, which is like they're trying to create a world that's nothing but synthetic life forms, and then there's the railroad, which is like almost like a terrorist group. They're trying to liberate all of the synthetic. Oh, what am I doing? All the synthetic life forms. There's the Brotherhood of Steel. I found them personally, not to get into politics, I found them a little too fascist for me. I didn't like them. There was something about them that really bothered me. A little too militaristic. And then there was the Minutemen, which they were the do-gooders. And so, some of you guys know me pretty well. In my first playthrough, I accidentally sided with the railroad at the end. And actually, that's what's cool about that game, is you can choose whatever faction you're going to deal with at the end. And I really do believe that there are different types of endings that are classified by good, better, best, and stuff like that, and bad. But in my first playthrough, when I played for the PS4, I sided with the railroad on accident, and that involves you blowing up the syndicate and killing everybody inside. Oops, it was an accident. I didn't know. Why? Once the mission goes, you have to complete the mission objective, otherwise, you die. And so I blew everybody up, and I remember I was with the Minutemen for a long time, but when I blew up the facility, the leader of the Minutemen, he just couldn't forgive me. And it's cool because the actions that you take in those games directly impact how the characters respond to you, and they impact how the ending happens. And so yeah, it's really neat. That was a good game. So I learned my lesson on my second playthrough, which I liked the game so much I bought it on Steam on the computer because I learned you could do mods on it and stuff like that. And so I modded the hell out of the game. I put characters from Mass Effect in there and stuff like that because I wanted it to be one big universe. That's kind of how obsessed I am with it. Yeah, as some of you guys know, I kind of have an obsessive personality. And so, so in my second playthrough, I sided with the Minutemen from start to finish, and I realized how I could do that. I had to look it up on a guide and say how do I side with, how do I get the Minutemen ending, and so I did, and that's actually, I believe, is the best ending. I actually have never beaten it under the Brotherhood of Steel, and I've never beaten it under the Syndicate, but maybe I will one day. Fallout 4, it's a fun game. It's an investment though. It took me 80 hours on my first playthrough, and then 100 hours on my second playthrough. But I never saw it as a chore. It was a lot of fun. That was a few years ago, maybe my second or third or fourth year teaching AP Calc. Calc AB anyway. You guys know this deal here. I'm going to spin this dude so that I can release all the water. We are almost done, by the way. And so, yeah, just drain all the water out. So, but yeah, so after Fallout 4, I felt like I kind of entered into like gaming depression because I didn't have a game to play that was as good. I mean, I'm trying to think, like Witcher 3 was really good. I liked that game. That was fun. But yeah, I didn't really have anything after Fallout 4. And then this year, I'm trying to think. I don't think I played much between Fallout 4. I'm trying to think. No, that's not true. You know what? I played like what was it? Uncharted, the Uncharted series. It was good. It's a lot like Tomb Raider, but better in my opinion. Nothing mind-blowing about the game. Just Nathan Drake is a really relatable character. I like him, especially in Uncharted 4. And then after that, it was God of War. The God of War Part 4. It was like, it played almost like a Souls game. And after beating that, I was like, oh, well, maybe I should try Bloodborne because I had it for so long. Like, it was just sitting in my virtual library, just collecting virtual dust, and it was so hard and so scary that I just couldn't get past it. But I played it and I beat it, and it was a lot of fun. Okay, let's make some food. So here we are. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna open these taco shells up here. Now, actually, so as you know, and I'm actually very happy that none of the taco shells have been cracked, which is excellent. So I will make 2 tacos. Now, part of my inspiration for making tacos today was actually I was watching Star Wars: The Rise of the Skywalker. I don't like that movie. I think it kind of sucks actually. And the ending of it reminded me a lot of Avengers: Endgame, where the Emperor tells Rey, I am all the Sith. And then she reaches behind her and goes, and then she says, and I am. And I remember at that moment, I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm like Iron Man. And I even did this, with the gauntlet. And so I thought it was kind of a ripoff of Avengers Endgame. Even like the whole when Lando Calrissian comes back, and saves them. I was like, oh my god, that's such a Falcon on your left kind of thing to do. It's just such a ripoff. But it got me watching. It got me wanting to watch Avengers Endgame again. So I watched it a couple days ago, and there was a scene when Scott Lang is Ant-Man is sitting outside the complex, and he has some tacos in his hand, and then the ship lands, and too much beef. And then the ship lands, and the tacos get blown away, and then the Hulk comes in. Bruce Banner comes in and replaces his tacos for him. And I was kind of thinking, those look kind of good. So that is my inspiration for making tacos today. So in case you're wondering why I'm making them. So I'm trying to make them exactly like the ones that the Avengers were eating. Maybe if I watch Avengers 1, I will feel so inspired to try to make shawarma. I'll probably fail at that. But yeah, I just scoop some beef, put it in the shell, put some lettuce into the shell, and then the hardest part is getting these things to stand up. I just don't have a plate that actually allows them to stand upright. That's the hard thing about tacos, and that's the part that's kind of annoying actually, is that they don't stand up very well. I wish I had like a taco plate of sorts. So there you go, there's that. Put those in the sink, grab a spoon for some tomatoes. Put those in there like this. In fact, maybe I'll just put one to show you what it looks like on the camera. Store-bought tomatoes are okay. I used to grow my own out in my backyard, which were super red, super juicy. You just can't beat them. So if you ever have a chance to grow your own fruits and vegetables, I highly recommend it. It's good. It tastes better than anything you can get in the store. And we're about to finish this thing. No, that's not true. I'm gonna put some cheese on there. And as always, you can always put whatever you want on there. So a little bit of cheese on the tacos, and I think a little bit of hot sauce would be good. This is the only thing that doesn't come from Trader Joe's. It's just your standard Tapatio hot sauce. And I will dabble that onto the tacos like this. Come on, dude. Don't be stingy. Hot sauce on the tacos. And I believe that the Hulk would be proud of me. Here's what they look like. Boom. Boom. Like that. And so let's see what they taste like. Oh. I like them. They're good. So that's how to make tacos. Hope you enjoyed the video, and in the comments area, let me know, how do you de-stress yourself after taking an ordeal like the AP exam, or after finishing all of your classes, or after producing a big show for the theater or stuff like that? Let me know. I'm interested to know how you guys detoxify yourselves with all the stress you guys accumulate, because you guys sure do accumulate a lot of stress. So hope you guys liked the episode. I'm glad I got a chance to hang out with you, and as always, I will see you all in the next episode.